I smoothed my simple black dress as I walked up the long driveway to my parents' mansion, the summer party in full swing ahead. The bus had dropped me off at the gates, exactly as my family expected. "Look who finally made it," my sister Emma called out, champagne in hand. "The bus must have been running late." "Traffic," I replied simply, adjusting my cheap handbag. They had no idea it was a one-of-a-kind Hermes, or that I owned controlling shares in the company. "Jennifer, darling," Mom air kissed my cheeks. "You really should let us arrange a car service. It's embarrassing having you arrive like this." I checked my phone as another alert came through. Phoenix Industries' latest acquisition was completing right on schedule. "Some of us work for a living, Mom," I said quietly. "If you call that work," Emma smirked. "What are you now, some kind of secretary?" If they only knew that my secretary job was actually being CEO of one of the largest private investment firms in the world. But for now, I let them believe what they wanted. "Emma's husband just bought her another Ferrari," Mom gushed. "And they're building the most gorgeous mansion in the Hamptons. With the help of Daddy's connections, of course," Emma added smugly. I suppressed a smile, thinking of who actually owned the land they were building on. Phoenix Industries had acquired that entire stretch of beachfront months ago. Speaking of connections, Dad boomed, approaching with his business friends. "Jennifer, you really should let me set you up with a proper job. My friend's firm is hiring assistants." "I'm comfortable where I am," I replied, checking another notification. The board meeting would be starting soon. "Comfortable taking the bus?" Emma laughed. "While the rest of us arrive in style?" The party guests tittered. Old money mixed with new, all looking down at the daughter who couldn't even afford a car service. "At least let me loan you some money for a taxi," Mom whispered. "The neighbors are starting to talk." My phone buzzed. "Right on time." "Actually," I started, but Emma cut me off. "Oh my God, is that an Android phone?" She held up her latest iPhone. "Some of us have standards to maintain." I glanced at my custom-designed secure device. Worth more than her Ferrari, but they'd never know that. Dad cleared his throat. "Jennifer, this lifestyle of yours, it's concerning. You're 30 now. Time to join the real world." "The real world?" I raised an eyebrow. "Tell me more about that." "Well, look at your sister." Mom gestured to Emma, who was showing off her new diamond bracelet. "She understands how to live properly." Another notification lit up my phone. The pilot was in position. "Proper living does cost money," Emma smirked. "But I suppose you wouldn't know about that, taking the bus and all." The party guests had started to gather, drawn to the drama of the family failure being put in her place. "Money isn't everything," I said softly. "Says the poor one," Emma laughed. "I mean, look at your dress. Is that off the rack?" If they only knew this off-the-rack dress was a hand-tailored Chanel piece worth more than their monthly mortgage. "Jennifer," Dad began, his lecture voice, "it's time you understood how the world works. Success requires—" My phone rang, cutting him off mid-sentence. The caller ID made me smile. "Excuse me," I said, stepping away. "I need to take this." "Probably her bus schedule app," Emma stage whispered, earning more laughs. I answered on speaker, letting them all hear. "Ma'am, your emergency board meeting requires immediate departure. The helicopter is approaching now." The distant sound of rotor blades filled the sudden silence. The party guests froze as the sleek black helicopter appeared over the trees, its distinctive Phoenix Industries logo gleaming in the sunlight. "What?" Emma's champagne glass slipped from her fingers. "What is that?" "Pie ride," I replied calmly, checking my watch. "I'm afraid I'll have to cut this short." The helicopter descended onto the perfectly manicured lawn, its powerful rotors sending the party decorations flying. Guests scrambled to hold on to their drinks and designer hats. "This is a private residence," Dad shouted over the noise. "You can't just—" "Actually," I smiled, "I can. I own the airspace rights, along with most of the properties in this area." Mom's face had gone pale. "You what?" "Phoenix Industries," my pilot called out as he opened the door. "Ready when you are, CO Harrison." "CO?" Emma's voice cracked. "That's impossible. You're a secretary." I smoothed my cheap dress. "Chief Executive Officer, actually. Though I do handle my own scheduling. Maybe that's where the confusion came from." Phoenix Industries is worth. Dad's business friend stammered. 97 billion as of this morning, I finished. The board meeting is about our latest acquisition. A little company called Harrison Enterprises. Dad's face went white. His company. His pride and joy. The empire he'd built. You're lying, Emma sputtered. Daddy would never sell to. Check the business news, I suggested, walking toward the helicopter. The announcement should be going live right about now. Phones started buzzing throughout the party as the news alerts hit. The mighty Harrison Enterprises, acquired by the mysterious Phoenix Industries in a hostile takeover. But the bus, Mom whispered. Why would you? Take public transportation? I paused at the helicopter door. Because unlike some people, I understand the value of staying grounded. Besides, it's better for the environment. The pilot handed me a tablet displaying the latest market reactions. Harrison Enterprises stock was soaring on the acquisition news. Oh, and Emma? I called out. About that Hamptons mansion you're building? You might want to check who owns the land first. The helicopter lifted off, leaving chaos in its wake. Through the window, I could see Emma frantically dialing her phone while Dad huddled with his business associates. Mom had collapsed into a chair, her perfect garden party ruined. The board is waiting, Miss Harrison, my pilot informed me through the headset. Shall I patch them through? In a moment, I replied, watching the mansion shrink below us. Let them stew a bit longer. My phone lit up with messages. Emma, what did you do to my house? Mom, Jennifer, please call immediately, we need to talk. Dad, this is unacceptable. Call me now. Ma'am, my assistant's voice came through the headset. Your sister's lawyer is trying to reach you about the Hamptons property. I smiled. Send him the ownership documents. All 40 pages. The Manhattan skyline appeared on the horizon, Phoenix Industries headquarters towering above the rest. My building. My empire. Built while they thought I was struggling in some entry-level job. Your brother-in-law is in the lobby, my assistant updated. Rather agitated about the Ferrari dealership. The one Phoenix acquired last month? I checked the security feed. Emma's husband was indeed throwing a fit, waving papers around. Have security escort him out. Gently. The helicopter banked toward our private landing pad. Below, news vans were already gathering. The mysterious CEO of Phoenix Industries finally revealed. Forbes is requesting an interview, my assistant continued. They're particularly interested in how you built Phoenix while your family thought you were, quote, taking the bus to work. Send them the photos, I decided. The ones of me actually taking the bus. While closing billion-dollar deals on my phone. We touched down on the helipad. Through the glass walls of the conference room, I could see the board members waiting. All handpicked by me, none from the old money circles my family frequented. Your father's business partners are calling, my assistant reported. They seem concerned about their investments. They should be, I replied, straightening my dress. Phoenix now controls most of their companies too. They just don't know it yet. The elevator opened directly into my penthouse office. Screens displayed Phoenix's global operations, shipping, tech, real estate, finance. All built from nothing while my family mocked my poor life choices. My phone buzzed again. Emma. You bought my dealership? Her text screamed. Where am I supposed to get my cars now? Try the bus, I texted back. I hear it's quite grounding. The board members stood as I entered. Unlike the party guests, they knew exactly who I was. What I was capable of. The Harrison acquisition is complete, my CFO reported. Their board never saw it coming. Of course not, I smiled. They were too busy laughing at the idea of a bus riding CEO. Another message from Dad, we need to discuss this as a family. Family. I typed back. Like when you offered me an assistant job. Or when Emma mocked my cheap lifestyle. Mom's text arrived. Darling, the country club board is asking questions. Tell them to check their ownership records, I replied. Phoenix acquired the club last year. Members need to reapply. Bus riders welcome. The board meeting began, but my phone kept lighting up. Emma's husband threatening lawyers. Dad's business friends begging for meetings. Mom's social circle desperately trying to connect with Jennifer from Phoenix. Miss Harrison, my assistant interrupted. Your sister's contractor called. Apparently, the Hamptons property has new building codes, I finished. Phoenix's environmental regulations. No new mansions allowed. The board members smiled. They'd watched me build this empire piece by piece, collecting assets while my family collected sports cars. Should we proceed with phase 2? My CFO asked. I looked at my phone. Another text from Emma. This isn't fair. You can't just buy everything. Actually, I typed back, I can. And I did. While you were busy mocking my bus pass. The boardroom screens lit up with global market reactions. Phoenix's stock was soaring, while every company my family had connections to plummeted. Your brother-in-law's hedge fund, my head of acquisitions reported, is particularly vulnerable. The one he bragged about at every family dinner? I pulled up the numbers. How interesting. Another frantic text from Emma. Mark's investors are panicking. What did you do? Nothing, I replied. Just some routine market adjustments. By the way, how's that Ferrari dealership treating you? Mom's next message was more desperate. The charity board meeting is tomorrow. Please, we need to maintain appearances. Appearances? I texted back. Like when you told everyone I couldn't afford a car. Check tomorrow's society pages. The Wall Street Journal headline was already going viral. Bus riding billionaire. How Jennifer Harrison built an empire in secret. Ms. Harrison, my assistant appeared. Your father's business partner Mr. Reynolds is literally crying in the lobby. I checked the security feed. The man who'd smugly offered me an internship last Christmas was indeed falling apart. Tell him Phoenix's HR department is always hiring, I smiled. Entry-level positions only. The board meeting proceeded, each report confirming what I'd spent years building. While they dismissed me as a failure, I'd been quietly buying up everything they valued. My phone buzzed one last time. That, we need to talk about the future of Harrison Enterprises, his message read. I looked out at the Manhattan skyline, my empire gleaming in the afternoon sun. The future. I typed back. I already own it. Should have paid more attention to the bus-riding daughter. The next morning's headlines were delicious. Phoenix rises. Bus-riding CEO reveals billion-dollar empire. Family shocked as poor daughter emerges as Wall Street titan. From public transit to private jets. The Jennifer Harrison story. I sipped my coffee in my penthouse office, watching the morning shows dissect every detail. Emma's sympathetic interview had backfired spectacularly. She always seemed so struggling, Emma had told reporters mascara running. We tried to help her, offered her jobs. The host had pounced. Jobs like the assistant position your father suggested to the woman who now owns his company? My phone hadn't stopped buzzing since dawn. Mom, the Junior League is voting today. Please reconsider my membership status. Emma, Mark's investors are suing. This isn't funny anymore. Dad, the board wants answers. We need to discuss this. Your sister's Hamptons contractor called again, my assistant reported. Apparently, the new environmental impact study reveals protected wetlands, I finished. Such a shame about that mansion plan. The elevator dinged. Security's voice crackled. Ms. Harrison, your family is here. All of them. I checked the lobby feed. They look different today. Gone were the designer outfits and superior smirks. Emma's perfect makeup couldn't hide her red eyes. Dad's confident stance had crumbled. Mom's social queen demeanor was nowhere to be seen. Send them up, I decided. Let's finish this. They filed in like chastened schoolchildren. Emma clutched a stack of papers, probably from her lawyers. Dad gripped his company portfolio. Mom held her social club roster like a shield. Jennifer, Dad started, his voice hoarse. About yesterday. The hostile takeover? I checked my watch. Or the helicopter entrance. Both went exactly as planned. Emma stepped forward, papers shaking. You have to stop this. Mark's business is failing. I pulled up the market screen. Actually, it failed an hour ago. Phoenix just acquired the remains. Mom sank into a chair. The country club board has been replaced, I finished. The new membership policy is quite interesting. We prioritize public transport users. This is revenge, Emma whispered. For all the times we mocked me, dismissed me, called me a failure. I turned to the window. This isn't revenge, Emma. It's business. Pure and simple. While you were busy laughing at my bus pass, I was building something extraordinary. Dad cleared his throat. Harrison Enterprises. It was my life's work. And now it's mine, I said softly. Maybe if you'd spent less time embarrassed by me and more time understanding what I was building, you'd have seen this coming. We can fix this, Mom pleaded. As a family. Family. I laughed. Was it family when you told the country club I couldn't afford membership? When Emma spread rumors about my sad little job? When Dad offered me an entry-level position at my own subsidiary? My phone lit up with another market alert. Phoenix's stock had just hit another record high. Your choices led us here, I continued. Every mockery, every dismissal, every superior smirk pushed me to build something bigger. Something you couldn't ignore or dismiss. What do you want from us? Emma's voice cracked. Want? I turned back to face them. I have everything I want. The company, the power, and the satisfaction of watching you finally understand just how wrong you were about me. Please, Mom whispered. The social circles will now revolve around me, I finished. Funny how that works, isn't it? The daughter you were embarrassed by now controls every aspect of your precious social world. My assistant appeared with fresh market reports. Ms. Harrison, the board is waiting for your final decision on the Harrison Enterprises restructuring. I smiled at my family's stricken faces. Tell them to proceed as planned. And send up the employment applications I mentioned. Employment applications? Dad's voice shook. Entry-level positions, I confirmed. After all, family should start at the bottom. Isn't that what you always said? They left in silence, their world completely upended. Through my windows I watched them exit the building, their cars gone, their driver dismissed. Should I call them a car service? My assistant asked. I smiled, watching them stand uncertainly at the curb. No, I think the bus will do just fine. It's quite grounding.